Hi there, this is Dr. Mort Orman, and I want to continue our discussion today about how it can benefit us in terms of challenging our beliefs and reducing our stress to think of our minds as an elevator that can go back and forth, up and down amongst various floors. And those floors, the analogy there would be different levels of beliefs or thoughts that we have in our mind and how they get connected to each other at various levels. So I talked in my last video about the main floor, the top floor, where most of our conscious beliefs and attitudes and opinions reside, and there can be thousands and thousands and thousands of those on many different topics. And then underneath that, there's two more levels I mentioned. So I want to focus today on what the second level down from our sort of conscious thoughts would be, or our surface level thoughts would be. And that second level down I would call core philosophies. So while we may have thousands and thousands of specific ideas and beliefs, we usually have a smaller number of core philosophies that tend to give rise to many, many other surface level beliefs. So I want to use the example for the next couple of videos of money problems, because that's a very common type of stress that many people have. There's many different kinds of financial problems that people can experience. There are people who just can't seem to earn enough money income-wise. There are people who've lost their job or having trouble finding a meaningful job that pays them a decent living. There are people who have trouble saving money. They may acquire it, but they can't keep it. There are people who have issues around making contributions, whether they should or they shouldn't. So we can have all kinds of problems and then all kinds of thoughts and beliefs about money and what it means to have it, what it means to not have it, how you get it. And we can have all those thoughts, but underneath those surface level thoughts or the high level thoughts, there's a bunch of more core philosophies about money. And it's useful to explore these because they often are driving those and are connected to those higher level thoughts. And it's very difficult to change or improve any dysfunctional thoughts around money that you have if you can't really figure out and address some of the core philosophies that are underneath it. So what kind of core philosophies could we have that give rise to our specific thoughts about money? Well, there are core philosophies around, well, money's hard to get. You could have a philosophy that, I know one that I got from my parents, money doesn't grow on trees. It doesn't just come to you. You have to go out and earn it. You have to work for it. So there was this idea that a philosophy that the only way you get money is to work very hard for it, and it doesn't come easily. There's a whole bunch of other philosophies that we can have about money. One of them, for example, is that, you can feel guilty. If you get too much money, that means somebody else is missing out, and you're acquiring wealth and other people are going without. And so there's a tendency to have a philosophy that says, people who have lots of money are sort of ripping off the people that don't have lots of money, or making it more difficult for people who don't. I'm not saying these philosophies are true or false. I'm just saying that a lot of people have philosophies like this. You can have philosophy, one person can have a philosophy that they can only contribute to charities and things like that if they have a certain amount of money available surplus. Other people may have the philosophy that I don't care how much money I have, I'm always going to give a percentage of it to those who are more needy than I am. These are just different philosophies that we can have about money. And whichever philosophies we have, they're going to be driving those higher level specific beliefs. Should I invest here? Should I contribute here? Is it a good idea or a bad idea to do this? Or, what's the right thing to do for most people? So those are the surface level ideas, and underneath them are going to be a deeper level of core philosophies, okay, that if you're going to try and change a higher level belief or something that isn't working for you, it's often difficult if you can't really figure out what the core philosophies are underneath it. And that's just the second level. There's actually a third level beneath that that's even more important. And unless you really understand all three of these levels and how everything related to money, let's say in your life, is connected on these three levels, it may be very difficult for you to eliminate or change any dysfunctional patterns you may have or beliefs you may have around money. And believe me, there are a tremendous number of people walking around today with very odd and dysfunctional thoughts about money. Who knows where they get them from? but they're very pervasive, and they really limit people's abilities and their access to money, and they cause a heck of a lot of stress as a result. And sometimes what you really need to do, it's not a matter of doing different things initially that may eventually be necessary, but sometimes you have to change your whole mindset and understanding of how you're programmed to look at money and experience money and feel about money before you can have those kind of breakthroughs. Where money can come to you easily, where you can have an abundance of money and be very happy with your financial situation and be relatively stress-free. So we'll talk a little bit about more about this tomorrow and on Friday, the last two installments in this 5-part series, and I will see you then.